Back in 2021, I decided I had enough of being in London and decided it was time for something completely different. I was in a toxic relationship at the time, feeling burnt out and had a lack of direction. So I challenged myself to go and set up base somewhere completely different. And a question everyone I know and people who always ask me is, why Ukraine? And I still remember the phone calls I would get or the phone calls I would make while I was in Ukraine to my people back home, and they would be like, what on earth are you doing here? Because I didn't tell no one I was going. I planned a few weeks in advance, got up and went. At first I contemplated about going somewhere in North Africa, but it was far too familiar to me. Then I contemplated East Asia, but having researched the finance aspect of things, it was far too great of a risk. Eventually, I decided on Ukraine. I had been there before for a week to visit family who were living there at the time, and I remembered we visited this area called Irpin. Beautiful town-like place that had recently been developed inside of a forest, really naturistic area. People didn't really live there. Now literally the whole place was just forests and rivers and lakes, so the environment is absolutely perfect because one thing about me, I love nature, can't get enough of it, which is why I'd always advise anyone who's really struggling mentally or needs to think or detox is to get out in nature. It will really serve you. Now, throughout my time in Ukraine, I traveled to various places and saw the reality of Ukraine and what it's like to really live there. Because at the time I was there, many people didn't even know the country existed. Of course, now everyone knows about Ukraine, and many have a certain land of morality and justice view of Ukraine. However, I can tell you it's anything but we can save all that for another video. Because in this video, I want to explain to you a very important lesson I learned, which I believe can benefit you if you implement it into your life, and has definitely benefited me. When I was living in Ukraine, my daily routine consisted of going to the gym and a boxing training center every day. After the first few days, I noticed literally 90% of people, and in particular everyone who was a serious trainer, all trained without any form of music, which is the complete opposite to the gyms here in the UK. So I started to ask myself why. Now I could simply ask someone. However, there was one issue. Nobody there spoke English, not one person. In Ukraine, yeah, people speak it, but not in the place I was staying. And I wouldn't truly understand the reason behind it anyway if I didn't try it for myself. Theory is only good so far. So I figured, let me start training the same way. And in doing so, I discovered the importance of learning to self-motivate. Everybody claims they need music to work out or train at the gym. What happens when there's no music? People look at it like it's the worst thing in the entire world. You literally see tweets and memes about it all the time. Oh, I can't train, my workout's ruined. However, I learned that it's actually the most beneficial thing for you. Why? Because it's just you and your mind. You versus you. This relates not only to working out in the gym, but to everyday life. In life, you won't always have the music pumping and blood flowing. In life, you will often be faced with times there's nothing motivating you, nothing's going for you, you're just stuck. And this is when you can either sink and essentially quit or not give it your all, or swim by picking yourself up with your own mental strength. You need to be able to fire yourself up, even when nothing's going your way. Learning to self-motivate was one of the best skills I improved on whilst I was living in Ukraine. Now, it's all well and good knowing about the skill of self-motivation, but it's pointless if you don't practice it. And yes, it is something you have to practice. It doesn't come naturally. It comes through struggle and perseverance. But boy, when it comes, you'll be so thankful you've got this skill in your locker. So, what's one way you can practice getting good at learning to self-motivate? It's simple. The same way I leveled up my ability to self-motivate. Next time you go to the gym or train, no music, just you and your mind. I don't care how boring or unmotivated you feel, you get through the workout. Do this enough times and you'll have either learned how to self-motivate, or you will have leveled up your ability to self-motivate yourself when you need to. Self-motivation is an essential skill you must harness in this life. So for that case, I hope this video serves you.